Mr. Speaker, I want to start by thanking this bill's Senate co-sponsors. The Senate sponsors of the original measure are Bob Corker, chairman of the Senate Foreign Affairs Committee, and the ranking member there, Mr. Cardin, as well as two other senators, Marco Rubio and Chris Coons. And I thank them for their good work to ensure this bill's Senate passage. We had our House version pass into the Senate, and I also want to thank Ranking Member Elliott Engel, as well as Chairman Chris Smith, Ranking Member Karen Bass of the Africa Subcommittee, for working so closely with me to develop the concept for this legislation over the last several years. Last Congress, the House passed a similar version of the measure we consider today, and with today's action, this will head to the President's desk for signature. The Electrify Africa Act seeks to address the massive electricity shortage in Africa. It is a direct response to the fact that today 600 million people living in sub-Saharan Africa, that's 70% of the population, do not have access to reliable electricity. The Electrify Africa Act offers a market-based response to this problem, and it will bring about the development of affordable, reliable energy in Africa. Why do we want to help increase energy access to the continent? Well, to create jobs, to improve lives in both Africa and America. It's no secret that Africa has great potential as a trading partner and could help create jobs here in the U.S. As the Foreign Affairs Committee investigated how to make better use of the African Growth and Opportunity Act, which was landmark legislation passed over a decade ago to expand trade with Africa, we learned that the lack of affordable, reliable energy made the production of goods for trade and export nearly impossible. Even where other conditions supported manufacturing, the cost of running a plant on a diesel generator is prohibitive. However, the U.S. is not alone in its interest in enhancing trade with Africa. We have competition. Just last month, the People's Republic of China pledged $60 billion in financial support to the continent. If the United States wants to tap into this potential consumer base, we need to be aggressively building partnerships on the continent, which is what this bill does. This bill will also have a tangible impact on people's lives. As former chairman of the Africa Subcommittee, I've seen firsthand how our considerable investments in improving access to health care and education in Africa are undermined by a lack of reliable electricity. Mr. Engel and I visited a power provider in rural Tanzania, which would help meet the goals of this bill, in a place where only 10% of the population has access to electricity. In areas like that throughout Africa, school children are forced to study by inefficient, dangerous kerosene lamps. Cold storage of life-saving vaccines is almost impossible without reliable electricity. And too many families resort to using charcoal or other toxic fuel sources whose fumes cause more deaths than HIV, AIDS, and malaria combined, and also damage the eyesight of the children trying to study. In Tanzania, we now have American entrepreneurs bringing new technology and management expertise to the remotest areas of Africa, and that is improving lives. Many of us on the committee have worked to transform our foreign assistance from programs that offer extensive band-aids to policies that support economic growth and independence. The Electrify Africa Act is part of this transition. This bill mandates a clear and comprehensive U.S. policy, providing the private sector with the platform that it needs to invest in African electricity. I'll reserve the balance of my time, Mr. Speaker.